Welcome to my channel A Ray of Success. First of all, thanks to everyone who support my channel. Today we going to discussing about the second basic signal, that is unit impulse signal in continuous time domain. In continuous time domain, a unit impulse signal can be represented as del of t. Okay. To define a unit impulse signal, first we consider a rectangular pulse of width delta and length 1 by delta. So here we can draw this is our time axis. Here we can draw a rectangular pulse of width delta and its length become 1 by delta. Then what will be the area of this rectangular pulse? What is the area? 1 by delta into delta. Then it should be equal to 1. So it have unity area. Also we consider some examples. First we take delta value is equal to 2. Then what is 1 by delta? 1 by delta become 1 by 2. Then only our area become unity. So here we can take 2. Here we can take 1 by 2. Then we can draw the rectangular pulse like this. Then what is the area of this rectangular pulse? It become unity. Then we reduces the delta value. So we can take delta is equal to 1. Then what is 1 by delta? 1 by delta become also 1. So here we can mark 1. Here also 1. So we can draw like this. Then what is the area of this rectangular pulse? 1. Next we consider another point, that is delta become 1 by 2. Then what is the value of 1 by delta? It become 2. Also consider our delta value reduces to 0.1. Then what is the value of 1 by delta? It become 10. If you consider this pulse, its duration become reduces, but its height become increases. Also its area become 1. Okay. If you reduces the delta value, its height become increases, but its duration become reduces. Also its area become unity. If you make delta tends to 0, then what is 1 by delta? 1 by delta is equal to infinity. Then what is the area? Area become unity. So we can draw the diagram. If you make delta become 0 and 1 by delta become infinity, it like a narrow structure, it like a narrow line. Its duration become 0 and its magnitude become infinite and its area become unity. Then this signal is known as unit impulse signal. Do you understand? When you make delta tends to 0, then you will get 1 by delta become infinite, but its area become unity. Then this signal is known as unit impulse signal. Why it is known as unit impulse signal? Because area under this pulse become unity. This one indicating area under the pulse. Then what is a unit impulse signal? A signal with infinite magnitude and 0 duration and with unit area. Then that signal is known as unit impulse signal. Then why it is known as unit impulse signal? Its area become unity. So it is known as unit impulse signal. By mathematical expression, it can be written as area under this signal can be written as minus infinity to infinity del of t dt become 1. This is the area under the unit impulse signal should be equal to 1. then we can call this signal is a unit impulse signal. Also we have another conditions. If you consider the magnitude of this unit impulse signal, we can take del of t is equal to infinite when t equal to 0. It's become 0 when t not equal to 0. This is the condition of a unit impulse signal. What are the conditions of a unit impulse signal? The area under the unit impulse signal become 1. Also, the magnitude of a unit impulse signal become infinite when t equal to 0. Also 0 when t not equal to 0. From this we can say the signal existing only at the point t equal to 0. Otherwise it become 0. Let's move to the properties of unit impulse signal. Then what are the properties of unit impulse signal? The first property become integral of minus infinity to infinity x of t del of t dt should be equal to x of 0. To prove this function, we can draw our impulse signal del of t. Its area become unity. It is our time axis. Also, we can take any arbitrary signal x of t. We can draw like this. 0 point. This is time axis. This is our x of t. Next we going to multiplying this x of t signal with our del of t signal. So we going to multiplying. What will be the resultant of this signal? If you consider impulse signal, the signal only existing at t equal to 0. Otherwise it becomes 0. If you consider the left and right side of the impulse signal, it becomes 0. So when you multiply an impulse signal with an arbitrary signal, you will get a resultant signal at t equal to 0. We can draw here. We get only this point. Otherwise here if you consider the impulse signal, the right and left side of this y-axis become 0. So here we get 1 into this value. This is our arbitrary signal value. So if you consider our resultant signal, you will get this signal at t equal to 0. This point can be represented the arbitrary signal when t is equal to 0. The signal value at t equal to 0. So this is our resultant signal. When you multiplying a impulse signal with an arbitrary signal, you will get a resultant signal. It's have only one value at t equal to 0. That value become our arbitrary signal value at t equal to 0. So we can say my integral of minus infinity to infinity x of t del of t dt should be equal to x of 0. So this property is satisfied. Second property, integral of minus infinity to infinity x of t del of t minus t0 dt should be equal to x of t minus t0. Here we taking a time shifting. So first we take any arbitrary signal. This is our time axis. This is our x of t. Also consider one point t0. Okay. Also consider our impulse signal, that is time shifted impulse signal. This is our del of t minus t0. So this axis. This is our impulse signal at unit area at the point t0. So when you multiply this time shifted impulse signal to the arbitrary signal, you will get the signal value at this point, that is at the point of t0. So 1 is multiplied with this amplitude, you will get this signal value. So we can draw, we get only the signal value at the t0. This signal can be represented. This is our arbitrary signal value at t equal to t0. So we can write x of t minus t0. This amplitude same as that of the amplitude of the arbitrary signal at t equal to 0. So we can say my integral of minus infinity to infinity x of t del of t minus t0 dt should be is equal to x of t minus t0. So this property is also satisfied. Next we go for the third property. The third property become del of at should be equal to 1 by mod a del of t. To prove this property, here we need to take two conditions. First condition, case 1, let a greater than 0. Okay. Then take integral of minus infinity infinity x of t del of at dt. Also, to integrate this function, first you take at become k. Then differentiate this k with respect to t. So you will get dk by dt should be equal to a. Okay. Then what is the value of dt from this equation? dt become dk by a. Okay. Then we can substitute these values into this function. So you will get also what are the limit? When t tends to minus infinity, then what is the value of k? K tends to also minus infinity. If you take t tends to infinity, you will get k tends to infinity. So you can write minus infinity to infinity x of, from this equation what is the value of t? T can be written as k by a. Also del of at become k. Then what is the value of dt? dk by a. Also equal to 1 by a integral of minus infinity to infinity x of k by a del of k dk. Apply the first property. What is the value of first property? It can be written as x of 0. So it can be written as 1 by a x of 0. So this is our equation number 1. Next consider the second case, that is case 2. Let a less than 0. Here also take the function integral of minus infinity infinity x of t del of, here take a less than 0. So we can take del of minus at into dt. Here also we can take let at should be is equal to, here minus at. Minus at should be is equal to k. Then we can differentiate k with respect to t. So you will get dk by dt should be is equal to minus a. From this we can write dt is equal to minus dk by a. Also we need to find out the limit. Here t tends to minus infinity. What is the value of k? If you take t tends to minus infinity, you will get k become infinite. Also if you take t tends to infinity, you will get k tends to minus infinity. So apply this into this equation. Equal to integral, instead of minus infinity we can written as infinite to minus infinity x of, instead of t we can written as minus k by a into del of minus at can be written as k into, instead of dt we can written as minus dk by a. Also equal to, here we can change the integral. If you multiply with a minus value to this function, we can change the integral. That means minus infinity to infinity. Here minus into minus plus, so you will get 1 by a into x of minus k by a del of k into dk. It also can be written as 1 by a integral minus infinity to infinity x of minus k by a del of k dk. Apply the first property. What is the value? It can be written as x of 0. So it can be written as 1 by a into x of 0. So this is equation number 2. From 1 and 2 we can written as integral of minus infinity to infinite x of t del of at into dt should be equal to, here we apply a greater than 0, here also apply a less than 0. You will get 1 by a x of 0. So you will get only a positive value. So generally we can write 1 by mod a into x of 0. Okay. Also this x of 0 again written as, we can apply the property number 1. That means integral of minus infinity to infinity x of t del of t into dt. So here we apply the property number 1. X of 0 become 1 by mod a integral of minus infinity to infinity x of t into del of t into dt. It can be written as integral of minus infinity to infinity. We can write x of t into this 1 by mod a can be take inside of this integral. So we can written as 1 by mod a into del of t dt. Also here we can take, this is one function. If you compare this right and left side of this function, what will you get? If you consider here we have x of t term in right and left side. Next we get here del of at. Instead of del of at, here we get 1 by mod a del of t. From this expression we can write del of at should be equal to 1 by mod a del of t. So it is satisfy our third property. What is the third property? Del of at should be equal to 1 by mod a del of t. Thank you.